What's up, runners? Welcome to the Let's Run Fit podcast. I'm your host, B Lit. As a running coach, I realized how many runners really wanted to know how to make themselves better and they had no idea how to get there. So here I am to help out any athlete who wants to know more about the sport of running. From the lifelong runner to the brand new runner, there's always something to learn here on the Let's Run Fit podcast. So runner's mark, let's go. Hey runners, welcome to the Let's Run Fit podcast. I'm so happy that you're here tuning in with me today. Today we're going to be talking with Roscoe. He is the president of the Grand Strand Running Club here in Myrtle Beach. We're going to be focusing a lot about what local running club is and does and what it can do for you. So while we are going to be focusing on the Grand Strand Running Club itself, this will apply to all running clubs across the nation because they're all going to have similar events, friendships, fun, and everything. So let's sprint right in, shall we? Thank you so much for being here, Roscoe. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Brooke. How are you?
I am wonderful. I always like to start with my favorite question, which is asking my guests what's their history with running, how they got started, and how they became a runner.
Okay. How did I become a runner? Well, I'm going to start way back when I was 14, and my father had a heart attack and died. Well, fast forward now to 1983. And I'd taken my 3-year-old daughter to the doctor. She had an ear infection. The doctor says, she has an ear infection. I'm going to prescribe amoxicillin. And by the way, Roscoe, what are you doing for exercise? Well, I was a sailor at the time down in Charleston, competitive sailor. And I said, I sail. And he says, No. I'm not talking about floating around Charleston Harbor drinking beer. What are you doing to get your heart rate up? And I'm thinking while he's saying this, that's not what I do. But I knew I needed to pay attention to what he said because it had been weighing on me for years, wondering if I was going to see my children grow up. I had 2 at the time. And if I was going to outlive my father, who died at 39. So I took what the doctor said very seriously. And I started thinking about all the things he said I could do. I could bike, I could swim, I could play tennis, I could play racquetball, I could run, any number of things. And I started going through the list mentally and deciding, well, I'm going to have a tennis court, be a member of a club. What about the pool? It's what do I do in the wintertime? Where I lived in Mount Pleasant, if I went out 15 or 20 minutes or 20 or 30 minutes, I'm going to be out in the bad highway in the traffic. So I thought, all right, I'm going to run. And if I don't run, I've got nobody to blame but myself. I can do it year round. I don't need any special tools or equipment. So that's what I chose to do. And a few days later, this was August, I went out at lunchtime on my lunch break and put on my cotton clothes and my hard sole tennis shoes and set out to run around the lake in my neighborhood. And got back, said, wow, I ran the whole way. I wonder how far I went. So I got in the car, drove. Of course, I'm soaking wet from the sweat. And when I got back, I saw I'd run just a little over a mile. I thought, wow, that's great. I can't believe I ran a whole mile. And so from there, it just continued. And I got to where I was running in the evenings after I got home from work and put my children to bed, spent some time with them, and it was maybe 10:30 or so at night. And I'd go out and run for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. And, I experienced what was described as a runner's high back then. I found out that I was feeling that after about 20 minutes of running. And that was kind of neat. But anyway, I just continued. And after about 3 months, I got talked into running a 5K on Thanksgiving Day in Charleston, the Turkey Trot. And I didn't want to do it, but like I said, I got talked into it. I was afraid I was going to come in last, that people would be snickering at me, that I might not finish, although had been able to run more than 3 miles at that point, but still worried about the negative things and about the failure. And the fellow that was running with me ran with me for the first 2 miles. And at mile 2, he says, Roscoe, you got this. You're going to finish just fine. And he took off. And sure enough, I finished, and probably wasn't that bad a time looking back at it, um, being 33. And so I just continued. I continued to run 5Ks and 10Ks through the years. And eventually, after about 20 years, I decided I might one day wish I'd run a marathon. So I signed up for the Myrtle Beach Marathon, and which was happened to be on my birthday in February of 2003.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, that was what put me over the top. I thought I might just, I might wish I'd done this one year. So I said, oh, when is it next year? I saw it was on my birthday. So okay, well, I guess that settles that. So I signed up for it. I ran it, finished in 4 hours and 44 minutes and some odd seconds. And when I was running, I'm thinking, man, I'm never doing this again. This is crazy. Why did I do this? I finished the race. My wife was at the finish line. I saw her. I started tears started welling up in my eyes, and she hugged me, and I told her, I said, that's the hardest thing I ever did. So after that, I thought I might want to do another one. So I back then you had to sign up with a paper application, got the thing out of the newspaper. I had till August something to send it in before the rate went up. So I filled out the application, wrote the check, put it in an envelope, put it on my desk at work, and that gave me 6 months to sort of stew about it. And I knew what day I had to mail it in by. So in the meantime, I go off to Atlanta to run the Peachtree Road Race on the 4th of July. And while I was there, I had a heart attack on the course, and finished the race, got my T-shirt, got talked into going to the Piedmont Hospital to get checked out, and ended up leaving the hospital a week and a half later after 6 bypasses, open
Good
heart surgery.
gracious.
Yeah. So when I got back, I had to go to cardiac rehab. But the first thing I did when I got back to the office, I mean, I wasn't doing much anything but walking. They said, you can walk as much as you want, but don't run until you get into cardiac rehab. So I got into the office, I found that envelope, put a stamp on it, mailed it off because that was my goal. I'm going to run the marathon next February, 6 months or whatever it was. And I did. And I knocked 15 minutes off my time.
Which is
So
huge.
that was,
Like that's a huge amount of time.
yeah, no kidding. I would have been, struggling to do that, not with a heart attack, I think. So the fact that I did it under those circumstances, but that got me focused on my running. And beyond that, I've run 10 more marathons. I've run Boston 3 times. I've got my time down below 4 hours, and learned how to be a better runner, learned how to train, learned that, there's a better way to do it than the way I thought you should do it, which is just if you go out and go running, run as hard as you can. If you're not, you're slacking off. And that's not the best way to train. The best way to train is to train a little bit of speed, train a little bit of, recovery, this and that, tempo run, you got to mix it up. Hills are nice, that they help you. And but just lots of running, and most of it should be easier than hard. And it
It
took me a
really
while.
does.
Yeah, it took me a while to accept that was really the way to do it. I had to experience it. I had to have somebody make me do it that way, a coach. And when I saw what he was telling me was true, I bought in, and I got better. And so that was good. And since then, since 2003, 20 years almost have passed. And a couple of years ago, I passed the hurdle or goal. It wasn't really a goal when I started out, but I have logged enough miles since the heart attack to go around the circumference of the earth, which is 24,901 miles. And It was not a goal originally. It was just something that I discovered that I was in the process of doing when I, keep my logbook. Saw I had like 17,000 miles or something. So that's a lot of miles. I wonder how far it is around Earth. Found out it was a lot further than I had been. I kept on going, and I made it. And I don't think I'm going to be doing that again, but I'm still running. Yeah, I don't think I have enough time left.
Like that is a huge, huge distance. That is such an accomplishment and not something everyone will. I don't think I'll ever get to say that. So like that is crazy amazing.
Well, I think you will, but you have to track your miles. But I didn't. The most I ever ran was 26 miles at one time, and usually I'd go out 2 or 3 miles as a minimum. So it was mostly 5, 6, 7 miles when I was training a lot. I mean, there was a couple of years I ran 2,000 miles, but I'm, still wasn't maybe 7 or 8 miles on average per run. I was doing 20 milers. I do when I was doing the marathon, but
Those
it
miles
just
add
it's
up
in
quick.
little bits and pieces that all add up.
Like
It's
you
like
gotta chip the stone
saving
away
for
one chip
retirement.
at a time.
Yeah, it's like saving for retirement. You can't put it all away at one time. You have to put a little bit away, a little bit away, a little bit away, and eventually you got a lot of money or a lot of miles, whatever it is.
And it really adds up. And it's such an
It
amazing
takes
accomplishment though.
yeah, it takes discipline. And
Like
that's one thing that the running club helps with is helping you get out there, helping you maintain your discipline, helping you be motivated. Um, so I found it to be very, very beneficial.
it's amazing. So on the running club, kind of what is a running club as a whole? So like the number of members, some of the offerings, popular events, things like that we have.
Well, we have right now about 450 members um, of all types of runners, elite, fast, crazy fast runners, a handful of those. And
I am not one of
they're
those.
yeah, they're at the pinnacle because it's like a pyramid. And you keep on coming down to where the rest of us reside, and the base is just full of average people that just go out and run because for whatever reason, want to be healthy, want to try to accomplish something I've never done before. I love it. We got one guy in the club. His name is Rick. He says I hate running. He does it all the time, and he'll tell you I hate running, but he does it. It's
One of
kind
my
of
best friends, she says the same thing every run we're on. It's, oh, I hate every second of this, but she just keeps doing it. She actually said that crossing the finish line
yeah,
of her first half marathon.
yeah,
I have the video. She's like, I hate
yeah.
this
And she's lying too, right?
because she keeps on going. So she must
Yeah,
like it
of
a little
course.
bit.
Yeah, she
She's
likes
done
it.
another half marathon with obstacles since then.
Yeah,
Like, like she made it harder. Because running just has that thing. It brings you back because it's peaceful. It's wonderful. I love it. And it's so much better with people, which is why the running club is so absolutely wonderful. So I know they
yeah,
offer things like group runs. So the
yep.
number one thing any new athlete I talk to is they're extremely nervous about showing up, especially the first day. They don't want to show up if they don't have somebody that they know with them. Like they're always like, oh, well, I'll bring my best friend. So I have at least one person because they think they're going to get left behind. They think they'll be the slowest one and that no one's going to be anywhere near them. They'll get lost. What kind of advice or comfort do you have to give someone about this? Because anyone who's a runner knows that this is not the case and will not happen to you. But to new people on the outside, it's a scary anxiety. So what
Yeah.
could you kind of shed light for that one?
Well, I'll just say this. Um, we talked about the pyramid of running and the people at the very tip top and the people down at the base. Every one of them, the very best runner in the world, started out as a non-runner. Probably experienced some of the same anxieties. You must have some talent, some natural talent, but you don't know what to expect the first time you go out there. So everybody's been there. Everybody knows what that new runner is feeling when they come out. And my experience has been that when we have somebody show up for one of our group runs and they're new, they never run alone. Somebody's going to run with them. We're going to bring them along. There's probably somebody out there slower than they are anyway. Not that slow is bad, but it's a fact of life. People sort of gravitate to where they are, and people have natural ability. But you won't run alone. You won't be out there by yourself. You'll get encouragement, and you'll have fun. Running with other people is more fun than a lot of times running by yourself. Sometimes you enjoy those lonesome runs where you can get lost in your thoughts as you're running along. But most people, when they're running, are chit-chatting. And one thing that I've heard, and I believe is true, is that running is like drinking, is that when you're drinking, the truth starts to come out. And when you're on a long run, the truth starts to come out because people just start telling everything's going on in their life. And they're sharing back and forth, and you'll find out we get to form great relationships because of what we're doing together and the conversations that we have, because you got to do something when you're out there besides just picking up your foot and putting them down, back and forth. We're socializing, and it makes it more fun.
I've actually used the comparison of like how some people just go and sit at a bar and just drink a beer with a friend. We do the same exact thing, except for we do it in a healthy way and we run first.
Right. And we got
we get a lot of drinking.
Runners who like to run and drink beer.
I have seen it. I was actually in a half marathon where someone had a actual, I can't remember what kind of bottle it was. I wanted it to be Fireball, but I don't think it was. But they were just sitting there literally with a bottle, little kind of smaller one, just during the half marathon, just having the time of his life with his friends, just passing the bottle, laughing. And I'm like, y'all are just a pinnacle of fun right here. Yep. Like they were having a blast. But it's what we do. We just have so much fun with each other. And I know running with somebody, for me, got me through probably one of the hardest times of my life because I had someone to talk to, and I talked to the same person on every run about it. And, it got me through until life got a little bit better. And
you're right.
Running can get you through.
Yeah. Not only that, the way you make your improvements in running is through hard, easy. You stress yourself or recover. And life is stress. And one way you're going to release some of that stress in your body, emotional stress, whatever it is through running. It'll dissipate it. And it helps you survive. And I believe that, I just keep my beliefs about that kind of stuff to myself, I guess. I'm not a doctor, but if you stay under stress all your life, it'll affect your heart because your heart is a muscle, and you'll build up inflammation and scar tissue. It'll cause arrhythmias and that sort of stuff. So getting rid of stress, if you don't get rid of stress, it's like training too hard all the time. You'll get injured. And your heart issues are basically like an injury. Mine, I don't think are hereditary. I think mine were from stress too.
A lot of people have it. We live in such a stressed out world that having a way to do something that's good for our hearts, good for our bodies, and good for our minds, it's such a wonderful thing.
It's very mind clearing and very liberating. I don't know what you can say bad about running.
I don't either.
It's bad for your knees, but most of the people that tell you it's bad for your knees are non-runners.
It is. And I've actually, random tangent here, I've actually seen a study that they are actually looking at the knee and the cartilage and everything inside. And as a runner, you actually strengthen your knees up until the point you're running the mileage of like an elite who run 100-mile weeks. But like a normal, quotation mark there, normal runner, you actually have stronger knees and less likely to have injury because you have put that stress and your body has rebuilt them stronger.
Right.
So it actually makes it better, and you're less likely to tear stuff because the tendons and ligaments are a little bit stronger. And just like you, I'm not a doctor, but I remember reading that study because it's such a popular thing you hear is, oh, that's terrible for your knees. I was like, well,
Yeah.
no, like it helps because you're strengthening the muscles that cause a lot of the knee injuries. Like,
Yep.
it's amazing. I'd say my only complaint about running is that races start really early in the morning.
They do. And
I love the summer
this,
series where we start in the evenings.
well, we have training for the marathon, and you go out for your long run. And if you're doing it in the summertime, we we've been going out 4 or 5 o'clock to beat the heat and humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's what you got to do.
It's worth it once you get up, but whoo, my brain does not like
It's
that
hard.
process.
Yeah, hard to crawl out of bed. But if you were doing it by yourself and the alarm clock goes off and there's not another group of people that you have to go meet, you're a lot more likely to turn the alarm off, stay in bed than if you're going to meet a group.
And if they're looking for you too, because even if you
Yep.
do turn the alarm off, they'll start calling you.
Oh, you'll be hearing about it.
They'll
So,
start calling, making sure you didn't get in an accident, things like that, because we look out for each other in the running community. And
absolutely.
that's why the running club is such a beautiful thing, because it's very difficult if you are a new runner and no one in your life is a runner to find someone to run with, because you're having to convince someone else who wants nothing to do with it or
Right.
laughs at you or say, why would you want to run? And so when you go things like the running club, you're now in a group of like-minded people who are all more than happy to run with you and are probably
Right.
also looking for someone to run with. It's
Absolutely.
like you literally get a pool of runners, take your pick, find where you like.
Right. Yeah.
That's, it is so
You'll find
amazing.
somebody out there you'll fit.
There's always there. And if for some reason you are the slowest, somebody will still run with you. Because on an easy run, you really can't go but too easy. Like if it's your easy recovery run day, if you're having to walk with that person for a while, you're still getting something out of it. It's not
Right.
like they had to sacrifice themselves. Like if they were one of, like you said, the elite level runners, they might have to sacrifice a little bit if they're walking. But like myself personally, if I had to walk with someone, I'm still getting someone out of it
Well,
because
when I was
I'm an
training
average
marathons,
runner.
yeah, when I was training marathons, I had to go out and there would be a group run. And if there was a group run and I had something on my training plan, a hard workout, I would go out and I'd find somebody who was fast and go with them, push myself, try to stay with them and get my hard workout in and use that person to help me achieve my goal without him having to make any sacrifices. And then on the days when I would go out, there was a group run and I had a recovery run or something easy. I could find people who would typically be slower than me, who I would not typically run with, and I'd go out with them so that I wouldn't be tempted to go too fast and mess up my training because training for a marathon or training for anything is hard, easy, hard, easy. You have to have all of those components to improve. And it requires more easy runs than hard runs to improve. Most people don't realize that. And I didn't realize it, but that's the truth. I found out about it. So,
And it's a hard one to get people to agree with because with my athletes, I started preaching that at them so hard this season, and they were just staring at me. They're like, there's no way this is going to work. I started bringing out the research. I started bringing in just podcast episodes, anything I could get. And when they finally bought in, you could see the moment every single athlete finally bought into it, slowed down on their easy runs because their race days just took off. I had one girl who took 1 minute and 22 seconds off her time in 3 months for her 1 mile just by adding
that's
in easy
incredible.
runs. And
Yeah.
she's been running for 6 years, I believe. And she's been running consistently for 6 years. So that's a huge improvement just because of easy runs. Like it is just a crazy thing that what running easy and enjoying your run and getting to enjoy the rest of your day can actually do for your race days and your speed and your just overall health and improvement. It's awesome. I'm a preacher of easy runs.
Yep.
We keep talking about easy runs and stuff. We
Yeah.
keep getting distracted today. It's wonderful, though. It's great conversation. So I know with the running club, so we've talked about the running aspect of what they can do for you as a runner, as a new runner, an experienced runner. They also do a lot in the community as well. So what are some of the things that the Grand Strand Running Club does that kind of help the community around them?
Well, one thing we do besides helping people be healthy is we give away scholarships to local high school seniors who are looking to go on to college, and um, but if they were in track running in track or running cross country, then they're eligible to apply for a scholarship. And we've been giving these away for since beyond when I was a member of the club. I've been a member of the club for 21 or 22 years. Um, we've given away literally thousands of dollars to local athletes. Um, we also have a race we do each year called the BFF Pink Ribbon Run, and it's to
It's one of my
support,
favorites.
yeah, local cancer charities here. Local, emphasize local. Doesn't go off to some, organization often who knows where. The money we give away stays here in Myrtle Beach to help people who are fighting or recovering from cancer. We support Ansley's Angels, which is, you may know about that. It's we take handicapped athletes who can't run, and they have carts, and we have people that push, and we support Ansley's Angels, so they get the experience of being out on the race course when they would otherwise never have that.
And it's the biggest smiles on their faces,
Oh,
too.
absolutely, it's a lot
I
of fun,
love watching those races when they're there.
and if you're pushing, that's a hard workout. It'll make you. It's like running hills. Hills are speed work in disguise, and I think Ansley's Angels are speed work in disguise too.
It is. They
You want to
kick my
get
butt
faster,
every race, and I'm just like,
push
how?
somebody.
They go so fast and so well in those things. Like, I'd be like, all right, we're walking. Give me a second.
So we do. We have a event each year at Indigo Farms, which is on the North Carolina South Carolina border. It's called the Battle at the Border. It's between the Grand Strand Running Club and the Wilmington Road Racers, and it's our team versus their team.
How
We
big does that event get?
we've had 100. We've had for the Grand Strand Running Club 150 people show up and
Oh, that's
run,
awesome.
and they might have. So there's three trophies: the most participants, the winner, and the loser. There's no individual trophies. We run as a team. And if they show up with 80 people and we have 150, then we take our top 80 and their top 80, and you see how we score out.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody gets to participate. You have to be a member of the club. So it costs you a whopping $20 a year to be a member of the club. And you get your T-shirt when you join the club. But if you come out for the battle at the border, because we run back and forth through the fields there at the farm and into the trails behind in the woods back there. So it's a pretty neat course. But
How
you
far
get
does that go about?
it's about
Just out of
4 miles.
curiosity. About
Yeah,
4? So that's something anybody could do. New runner, experienced runner,
absolutely.
everybody would get to go out there.
That's right.
Like,
But
that is amazing.
yeah,
I can't wait to do it. I'm going to do it this next one.
yeah, do it because and everybody gets an awesome singlet. So that's like the badge of honor here. And we always win the participation trophy. And we've won overall, they've won overall. But the Grand Strand Running Club, in my opinion, wins every year. The club itself, in that we get so much participation. It's so much like a family. It's so much fun, and we all come together, and it brings people into the club, and so we have more friends, more people to associate with, more people to help us improve and enjoy the running experience. So if we came in last in the race every year, we still, because of the turnout that we get, we are the winners. without a question.
I'm excited. When is the next one in case anyone else wants to
Well,
join the running club and go do that one?
it's going to be the last Saturday in July.
All right, so you'll see me then.
We need to see everybody out there.
I'm excited. So anyone who is local to this area, join Grand Strand Running Club. Go to Battle the Border. For one, you'll get to meet your favorite podcaster, but you'll also get to go experience this. And I am so excited. I've been watching pictures of this online for the last couple of years, always wanting to do it, but I was always so nervous because I hadn't really gotten into the running community yet. As you can tell, I've dove in head first now, but I am so excited for it this year.
Bring your students out here. Bring your
I will.
Young, fast ones.
I've got a couple of them, so we've got this.
Yeah, and then we'll make sure we win all the trophies.
And I'm making them do summer workouts, so they'll be ready.
Yeah, the second place trophy is a snail on the top of it, and we call it Snaily. So we'll let them have the Snaily trophy this year.
Oh, we've got this. We're coming for you, Wilmington.
All right. All right.
All right. So our last couple of questions here to kind of close this out here is, what do you think the biggest benefit to a runner is who joins the local running club? I know we've gone through so many, but what do you think like the number one thing would be?
Well, it's got to be the camaraderie and the relationships that you'll build with people who have the same interests and loves that you do. That's the biggest thing. I mean, you get a T-shirt, you get to be in the Grand Prix series. That's automatic if you're. We just score you, and at the end of the year, whoever's the Grand Prix races, whatever they consist of, there's no more entry fees. We have age group awards for people within the club who do well in the Grand Prix series. Of course, the Battle of the Border. But the main thing is, being a part of the Grand Strand running community, the family that we've made here. And I could go on and talk about all the things that we've done amongst ourselves. We had a girl, she must have been about 12 years or 13 years ago. She got hit by a car going for a run out on crossing 17 at 62nd. And we just came together. When she got hit, she was in the hospital. I mean, she should be dead. Misty White was her name, Misty Dion now. And we raised $17,000 for her to cover her uninsured medical expenses because we just came together. And it's unlike any other club that I've ever been experienced with. I'm a member of the Atlanta Track Club, the Charleston Running Club, and I've been members of other things, sailing associations. I've never seen anything quite like this group. And so we're fortunate.
And running is great.
Come join us.
You definitely would. If somebody wanted to join the Grand Strand Running Club, how would they go about this process?
Well, I think the website is grandstrandrunning.com, and there's a link that you click on where it's to become a member. And like I said, it'll cost you a whopping $20 to join. Good for a year. If you join today on the 19th of May, you'll be good for a year out. And you'll get a notice saying, if you want to join, we'd love to have you come back. Get a T-shirt and lots and lots and lots and lots of friends and things to do. And we'd love to have you.
It is amazing. All righty. So my last question for you is, what do you think running has in store for your future?
For me personally, I'm hoping that I can continue to do this. I mean, like I said, I'm 73 and had health issues in spite of all the healthy things I do for myself. But Father Time is who I'm competing against now, I guess. And he's making me go slower, and he's making me take longer to recover after I go out and I still got a half marathon on my books now. So, but when I go do my long runs, it's taking me a little longer to get through that. So I'm hoping that I can just continue because I want to be involved. I would hate to step away or, sort of feel I couldn't join in and be with my friends. That would be hard. So and that's what I'm hoping for.
All righty. Well, I think this had so much great information today. I'm so glad that you joined us here today, Roscoe. And until we meet again soon.
Yeah, and I'll say this one more thing.
Yeah.
You can send an email to president.gsrc@gmail.com and I'll get it. And once I'm not president anymore, whoever the new president is will get it. But if you send me an email, if you've got any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
And he definitely will. I've emailed him a couple of times before.
So, and I'm not the only one. I mean, just tons and tons of people out here that would be just as willing and want to help. So I encourage you to do that.
All righty. Well, have a fantastic day, Roscoe. We can't wait to see you guys and everyone at Grand Strand Running Club. So come out for Battle of the Border, come out for group runs, and we'll see you all again soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, guys. Happy running. Thanks so much, runners, for spending time with me and listening to this episode. If you like what you heard, please hit that subscribe button and leave me a review. I always love to hear from my listeners. And if you want more Let's Run Fit in your life, find me on Instagram at Let's Run Fit with Be Lit. Until next time, runners. The information in this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for medical or professional advice. Please always consult a medical professional if you're seeking medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The Let's Run Fit podcast is not liable for risk or issues associated with using or acting upon the information in this podcast.